Hey, good morning from Los Angeles. Jon Rognerud here, coming at you on YouTube's, on Facebook, and on Media and Marketing Podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, etc. Love from Los Angeles today. A brand new week. We are kicking it off and we're getting some speed in our day. In fact, I titled today's presentation, How to Improve Your Performance for Your Website to Get More Love from Search Engines and Users Alike. And I just want to kick it off here by sharing my screen. If you are watching live, hey, thanks for that. If you're listening on the podcast, basically what you are looking at here is an excerpt from my speaker sheet. As you may or may not know, obviously I talk a lot here on the podcast, and we go live every day with new content and new situations that I try to explain and get have you get better results from all that. And what you're looking at here is a couple of 2-3 books I've actually written on search engines, on Facebook, and also social media selling. And one of the slogans, I don't really use it as much anymore, but I still believe this to be true, that 90% of businesses' success is marketing 100% of the time, tongue in cheek there, right? But you can see my book here from Entrepreneur Press, also self-published a couple of books here. And as you can see, I've been written up a number of places here on Entrepreneur, obviously, New York Times, Yahoo, PC World, etc. And so just wanted to share this because some of you all may not be familiar with this, and also that I do actually speak. So this is sort of a mini pitch right here, kicking it off this morning, that if you are interested in getting a speaker for your organization, I talk a lot about, obviously, online performance, performance marketing, search engines, social media, paid search and traffic. But really, ultimately, all that I talk about at the end game, if you will, is customer acquisition, right? So ultimately, how do you attract, obviously, but acquire customers? So the entire sales process, and that's a big deal. A lot of folks talk about traffic, talk about lead generation, but what happens after the fact? And that's something that I've been specializing on for many years. And it's where most organizations fail, frankly. I mean, we talk a lot about sales, obviously, and marketing here on the podcast and as I broadcast these out here. But we're going to be diving more and more into that portion that happens after you get the lead, right? With small teams, larger teams, solopreneurs, etc. Because frankly, that's where, as I said, a lot of this falls down. Because all this traffic and all the work that you're doing, yes, it's helpful to build your brand. Clearly, that's an ongoing exercise. But if you cannot convert that traffic into a funnel that sells, and ultimately, if you are on phone calls like what I do, then that would not be good, right? In fact, if you go to chaosmap.com, there's a button on there. You can set up a call to talk to us. We're actually opening up for a couple of new clients now, and you're welcome to come in and talk to us here at chaosmap.com, chaosmap.com. So let's dig in here, guys and girls. And by the way, if you haven't seen it, just go to janspodcast.com. It'll take you right to iTunes, which you're looking at right there. We had a great presentation on Friday, how to build the best Facebook ad creative. The one by one boxed creatives. You should definitely check that out. And by the way, we're out on YouTube as well, so feel free to do that. Now, today, we're going to talk about performance, and specifically website performance. As you know, a great user experience includes performing a high-performing website, which means speed, and that you actually render that page fast. So if you are driving traffic, whether it's organic or paid, or even through email, right? You want your pages to load fast. And so what you're looking at here is tinyjpeg.com. It's a tool that allows you to tune and tweak and optimize your images, because typically what we see at the agency, anytime we want to optimize the user experience, we want to talk about speed. And so speed often gets slowed down, as in low performance, because images are large and not optimized. And what you're looking at here is a little slider that on the right-hand side, using this tool, tinyjpeg.com, jpg.com, reduced to 162 kilobytes versus on the left side, 641. It's massive, right? And if you look at this slider, there's really no difference at all between the two images. And we're going to get back to this because this is going to be the most powerful thing that you'll use to optimize your website. You just literally drop your PNGs or your JPEGs and it does the rest. And there's many tools like this out there, but we like this one. It's simple. There's another one that we use internally that's more of a bulk checker where you can upload multiples at one time and do them all. So in fact, I think this one also has that capability. Yes, it does, 20 images at a time. So what I thought we'd do is just go to one of our domains here. This is fbadstraffic.com. And by the way, if you happen to enter your email here, you're going to get a Facebook ads template for free. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, so what I'm doing here is I'm taking fbadstraffic.com and I'm literally going straight into what's called GT Metrics, metrix.com. Many of these tools out there too. There's one called pingdom.com, tools.pingdom.com. But we like this one, gives you a good start and has many options, and it can get rather complex if you start digging in here. As you see, I already ran this report here, but this is going to be very important for you to run for your website. So really just go to gtmetrics.com and enter your domain name, enter the fully qualified domain name. So like HTTPS or HTTP, www, whatever you've set up there, it'll resolve, but it's good to just enter the actual URL. Anyway, so once you get the results, it's going to give you some scores, right? And it's going to tell you the fully loaded time, page size, number of requests. All you really need to do here, especially if you're a beginner, just to get started, is to look at, images, right? You can use content delivery networks. There's many ways that you can optimize HTML code and minimize code. And yes, you should do all of these things. And if I'm going fast and technical, that's fine. What I really wanted you to do, though, is just get feel for this tool here, gtmetrics.com, and enter your website domain name and start looking at the statistics here. Pardon me. So one of the biggest things that you're going to be getting back from this is right here. It's not too bad. Actually, I see it here under the images section where it says optimize images. We have an A here in terms of speed. Like it's all green. It's all good. Well, nice, but most often you'll find that this is going to be red here, and it'll be listed kind of right at the top here versus further down on the screen. And that's going to be your biggest effort initially, because it's a simple one. It's super simple, tiny JPEG, as I said. And so you run it here on GT Metrics. Then what you do, and you can obviously start, do this differently. You could start with page speed. From Google, Page Speed Insights, and we're looking at that right here. GT Metrics and Page Speed Insights, both, we use those. But here you can see that we got a good score at 74. It's actually probably average. Yeah, kind of a higher average, I guess. Now, one of the reason why I wanted to show you this here is you might look at this and say, oh, well, 74 when I really should be in 90 to 100 in terms of those parameters there. That's not necessarily great. Well, you have to look at this and run it different times. Sometimes you'll find that this will be, I just ran it right before this. It was actually 82, right? So these scores change. And what you have to look at is when you run the Page Speed Insights tool and the GT Metrics and potentially tools.pingdom.com. In fact, let's load that up right now. Tools.pingdom.com is that all of these tools have different ways in which they test these or get the results from, the way that they display the results, I should say. Locations they're coming from. Let's do Pingdom here at FB Ads Traffic from San Francisco. What I'm saying to you is, or trying to say to you is, all these tools are fine. They're great. In fact, GT Metrics, Page Speed Insights are awesome. But you have to translate this into your world, right? So if you run this and you see, oh my God, takes 5 seconds to load my website, what is going on? No freaking out needed, right? Just address the immediate issues, and typically the ones are going to be images and hosting, right? So if you have a cheap hosting company that is not doing its job, just to put it in a non-technical term here, well, you need to switch hosting, right? And we host all our stuff and clients with the WP engine, although actually FB ads traffic is not that. So I shouldn't say that we do all of it, but most of it. And WP engine is awesome, WPengine.com for WordPress. And they also have a heavily invested infrastructure such that we did this for one client let's see, what is this, Smart? No, that was in November, December timeframe. We literally just ported this site over to WP Engine from another hosting location in the central US. And we were able to go from 12 seconds load time to under 5 seconds just by placing the same exact code on a new hosting provider. So here's what you need to do. Start with GT metrics or page speed insights, get some data back, specifically look at any issues that are major degradation in terms of performance. Look at optimizing those images with Tiny JPEG or similar tools, right? That you're looking at right there. And then step 3 is consider possibly changing your hosting company. Now, that last piece is sometimes fairly major, depends on the infrastructure that we're talking about. If it's a 5-page website, that's one thing, and you probably don't have to worry too much about performance in that case anyway. Or if you're talking about, 100,000 page site, right? That requires a whole migration plan and a whole different discussion, and we do those as well at the agency. But ultimately, what you need to start with is just get some baseline numbers. And so here we're looking at Pingdom, and you can see we got a performance grade of 71 for FB ads traffic. The load time, see how that says 2.49, and GT metrics says it's 3.1. Yeah, that's probably pretty similar right here. And then, of course, below each one of these results, you typically have action items and things to take care of in terms of the descriptions and the details around that, right? So that's really what I wanted to try and get out here today in a fairly quick presentation here today is step 1, make sure that you're always optimized for mobile and desktop. In today's world, right? Make sure that you are optimized for a high quality user experience. Yes, we talk a lot about graphics and, headlines and, copy that speaks to the psychology of the user at that moment in time. And you push them through the right pages that you want them to go to in terms of a funnel experience. You want it to be helpful, useful, unique, authoritative, and trusted content. You want that to be all optimized for search engines. You want it to be user-friendly at every level, as I said, desktop and mobile as well. But fast loading is really the key that I'm trying to get to today. High-performing websites that load fast. I mean, can you imagine the sales lost for obviously a hugely trafficked site like Amazon when you were talking about just not even half of a second of a page load that is preventing sales ultimately. And there's stats out there about this, and I forget some of these stats, but if you are getting over, I think it's 3 seconds for every second thereafter, there's a potential sort of number of X% or Y% lost opportunities, depending on what you're selling and doing. Obviously, if it's an e-commerce based site, you want high performance at every level. So, but if you need any help with this, and this gets way too technical for you to deal with, then we do this stuff at the agency as part of our audit for content, for SEO, for paid search, Facebook ads, Google ads, and happy to jump on a call and see if we can help you with this. That is chaosmap.com. And we think that this is not only important for you, but it's important for the users, which of course is important for search engines, and everything else that you do. So hopefully this has been helpful today. And as we started out from the very top, if you are listening to this and you want to consider getting more content in the live workshop that you are holding, and that you'd like to get some details about from me, then you can reach out to me directly here at chaosmap.com or jonrognerud.com on the website, and happy to talk about that and see if there's a match. But other than that, guys and gals, this is Jon from LA today, and I want to thank you for watching and listening. And hey, keep on doing what you're doing and get into high performance. That's what we want. All right, take it easy, guys and gals.